Hello. So, quick side note before I get into today's subject. I'm actually gonna be taking a break from YouTube for a while. I don't know when I'll be back. I'll still be active on here. I won't be. I'll still be watching other people's videos and stuff. I'm just not gonna be uploading any for a while. For three reasons. One, YouTube is just such a broken mess. It has been for years. I think plenty of other content creators of various sizes have been pointing out all the flaws and stuff. I don't need to go into the details because they've already done it. Um, I feel like it's just been even worse as of lately. So the other thing is, screw it. I'll just say the word. The whole coronavirus thing, and also it's just a lot of personal stuff going on. I won't bore you guys with the details, but yeah, I just need to step away for a while. I don't know when I'll be back, but anyway. So that being said, on to today's subject. Streets of Rage 4 came out recently, and it seems to be doing very well. You know, a lot of consumers are really praising it. And it got me. I actually haven't played it yet because I pre-ordered the physical copy. I'm waiting for that version, which will probably be somewhere in the summer. I'm definitely excited for that when that comes out, or when it gets here, whatever. But where was I going with this? Oh yeah. So it got me thinking that there are other Sega IPs that I would love to see get like the same treatment as this. I mean, when it comes to Sega's IPs and stuff, and really all we see nowadays is Sonic, and Sonic games are hit or miss. It's all subjective, really. Occasionally we'll see like a Virtua Fighter or a Monkey Ball or something, but not much else. Like, what about all their other IPs that people haven't? Maybe some people have forgotten about, so to speak. Well, not forgotten, but I would love to see them come back or get a new game or a HD remaster or something. Case in point, one game that I would be happy to see either a sequel or a remaster is Dynamite Cup. Now, of course, Dynamite Cup was the sequel to Die Hard Arcade, and both are great games. But I always like Dynamite Cup more, and I would love to see another like a continuation of that or an HD remaster. Either of those, I would be happy with. Um, Speaking of arcade titles, how many, those like Genesis collections that Sega makes? Like there was one. How many of those have they made? Well, it's always. I understand Genesis was their most successful system, but it's like, come on, give your other consoles some love. Like make a Master System collection or a Saturn collection, or what I would love to see is a collection of their old arcade titles. Like there was one game which I actually talked about in my arcade vlog video that I did a while ago, called Quartet, which is like an action platformer type of game. And it's a very good game. The music is very catchy. It's a fun game. It's for 4 players. And I remember there was another game that was at the arcade that used to be across the street from my mom's. Like this was back in the 90s. I'm pretty sure this was Sega. And it was like a 3D fighting game. Where you'd float around and stuff. It was not a great game, but it had its moments. I think it was called Psychic Force, but maybe I'm thinking of something else. I don't know. But back to the old games. Well, let's go talk about the game that's in the title, and actually the music is playing right now. Shining Force. Now, there's a bunch of Shining Force games, but the ones that I'm most familiar with are the first two that are originally for the Genesis. Actually, to tell the truth, I never even heard of Shining Force till about 2001, where I played the first game on the Sega Smash Pack for the Dreamcast, and I was like, wow, this is a great game. And it was actually a remake for the Game Boy Advance, and that version's even better for the most part. Like, the character, there's all like the characters are much more active, like they speak more and stuff, and they're more unique basically. The characters are kind of, and the graphics are all redesigned now. The character redesigns, some of them I like better in the Game Boy Advance version. Some I like better in the Genesis version, but that's beside the point. But yeah, I would love to see a new Shining Force game because, for one thing, I mean those games are so good. Like there's always like a great variety of characters. There's all these like different species and stuff, and the stories are always really good. The music's great, and Shining Force, to me, the games are almost like Fire Emblem. Like they have the same similar gameplay mechanics. And look how huge Fire Emblem has become, so maybe Shining Force could be just as big. Well, maybe not just as big, but they could be up there, so to speak. The next two games were Genesis games that I never played. I wanted to play back in the 90s, but I didn't play until like years later. But, well, actually, one of them has a sequel, and the other one was also an arcade title, but that's beside the point. So the first one, which had a sequel, it's Vectorman. Vectorman is such a great action platformer. He's a cool character. The music's great. It's just such a fun game, and we've seen a resurgence of platformers in recent years. I mean, look, like Bubsy came back out of nowhere, pretty much. So, Earthworm Jim is coming back. The Battletoads are coming back. I know the new game looks. The graphics look really weird, but it's like, I'll still give it a shot. But it's like with, we see these platformers coming back out of nowhere, so why not bring back Vectorman? Give him another shot. I mean, it's worth a try. I mean, like. Now, the other game is Eternal Champions. First of all, I love the concept of Eternal Champions, how it's like a fighting game with characters from all different time periods. And the other thing is that it's like, I've said this in other videos, I feel like that game was ahead of its time. Because it was like, during that time with like Mortal Kombat, some of the fatalities with the old school games, like the digitized actors, the fatalities in those games, the first three anyway, so to speak, some of them were pretty gruesome. But you also had your goofy ones as well, like where Liu Kang would drop an arcade machine on them, or Jax would grow and step on them, which made absolutely no sense. But then you had like Eternal Champions, where all the fatalities in that were so like over the top. I mean, and there was the goofy ones too, like the one where the clown car falls on him, and then one of the clowns honks the horn and the blood comes out the horn. But a lot of them were just so like gruesome. Like, even now when I look at them, I mean, this is a game that's like 25 years old, give or take, and I'm just some of the overkills or finishers and that, I'm like, damn. Like, one of the ones that really makes me like, ugh, is basically they fall down a well, and then they keep falling, and then there's like a layer of like all these blades and spikes and stuff, so they go through that and it makes like this grinding noise. They come out from the bottom of it, and it's basically just like all this like flesh and muscle tissue hanging off of them. It's just like, so they keep falling and then they fall into another layer of spikes and blades and saws and all that stuff. Makes another grinding sound, and then it's like just a head and a bunch of limbs start falling out and falling down, falls into another layer of spikes and blades and stuff, and then it's just the skull which falls to the ground and shatters. It's just like, Jesus. And this is like a game that came out decades ago in the 90s, so imagine what they could do now. I mean, like, look at the stuff that you see in Mortal Kombat. Like, I would love to see another Eternal Champions game, and just to see if they could like top what they did in the 90s. Maybe they can, maybe they can't, who knows. And the last one was, I never played this game, but it was a game for the Sega Saturn. I actually mentioned it in my video where I talked about like the my what the hell video was it? My game magazine collection. There was a game for the Saturn called Fighters Megamix, which was basically it was a fighting game, a 3D fighting game with all characters from different Sega IPs and stuff. So you could literally be the car from Daytona, USA. Daytona, USA. You could literally play as a car in a fighting game. And this was kind of like Sega doing like a mixed fighting game before Nintendo had Smash Brothers. Now, of course, Smash Brothers now has all these third-party characters, but I don't see why Sega couldn't do this again. Like, make another fighting game, whether it be a 3D fighting game like Fighters Megamix or a platformer fighting game like Smash Brothers. I think they should do it again and throw like all their IPs in there. I think that would be awesome. But yeah, those are just some of my ideas, or some of my Sega IPs that I would love to see get a new game, like a remaster or a sequel or whatever. What are some of the ones that you think would make a cool that you'd love to see come back? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you sometime in the future, and stay safe. I'll see you